show in 1989. So there's a lot of things that I wasn't around. I go through the paperwork sometimes and I'm like, oh, that's why they did that. You know, I have like lots of them. Because way back when, in 1987, when they were doing pre-production on the show, everybody was still using typewriters. And, you know, we had no computers and all that kind of stuff. So the first time we ever used a computer to do Phantom was, I had my little Mac SE, you know, it was tiny little, you know, thing. Everybody was terrified of it, you know. Like, when we were doing the Rally Company, which was a tour that opened in 1990, we actually used a computer, you know. But like all the original paperwork for the original productions is all typed.
Oh, that's cool.
Everything's done by hand. Some of the lists are all written out by hand, you know.
Oh, wow. They should open a Phantom museum.
They should. I probably, well, I call it costume storage, but it is like a Phantom museum.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, one of these days I'm going to go through all the paperwork and like figure out, you know, what to send to the Smithsonian and, you know, but there's, yeah, there's, it's fun sometimes to go through the paperwork and sometimes it's kind of depressing.
I think I heard something about a Cameron Mackintosh museum, but in London.
Well, if there's actually Maria Bjornson archives. Michael Lee, who's Maria's archivist, they found an apartment in London that's sort of the same shape and size as her studio from her house. And they have it sort of set up almost like it was her studio. And they have, so up around the ceiling they have all these shelves for all the set models and all of her designs and stuff. But it encompasses all of her work, not just Phantom. And I don't know how hard it is to get an appointment to see it, but like if you're ever in London and, you know what I mean? So they actually have an archivist, and every now and then I stumble across something, I'm like, Michael, look what I found. You know, it's sort of like, you know, because there's actually finding these sketches for the window cards. Maria was notorious for doing things like, just on a whim, after London opened, she gave some of the sketches away, and the only thing they had was photocopies. But the photocopies from 1988 are the kind where the ink, when you put it in a plastic sleeve, the ink comes off in the plastic. Oh, wow. So some of the sketches that we have are like much photocopied upon photocopied upon photocopied copies of her originals, and nobody's fessing up as to who has some of the originals. And then somebody did a set of JPEGs that are like this big. They're super high def, like they're like megabytes big, but they're like this big. You know, so I'm constantly, actually the first reason I had to learn to use Photoshop was to try to get the sketches to some sort of, but there's still some of them that I'm chasing down that I don't have anything that's But anyway, I brought, I'm going to pass this around. This is one of my baby Bibles. It's got the whole show in it, and all Maria sketches are in there, and it's by character. And because when you have to carry when you're going from shop to shop to do fittings during production, you have to carry the whole show in your head or in your hand, and here it is in my hand. This is actually my Bible from San Francisco. Because the tracks, the principal tracks never change, but in the back, like, you know, Male Singer number 6, Robert Close, yeah, those tracks are always like, well, maybe he won't be Tweedle, but anyway. If you want to actually see the sketches, there they are.